Hey YouTube fam, thanks so much for being here. We are gonna jump into a 30-ish minute spicy practice. This coming Saturday, I am hosting a live online class and I would love for you to join me. If you haven't heard, I have a membership site. This live class is happening within the membership site, but I'm opening it up to the public, anyone who wants to join, for a drop-in rate of $15. I'll put the link below. But here's the really cool thing: if you join and you are not already a Kula member and you pay that $15 to join, I will give you a free month in the Kula. So if you have been interested in trying out the Kula, I would love if you would join me for a live practice this coming Saturday, 9:30 a.m. MST. Check it in your time zone. If you can't catch that time zone, you can catch the replay. All that information will be below. After the live class, I will be chatting through the details for my 2022 yoga retreats. I'm bringing us kind of all over the world next year. So if you're interested in traveling or meeting me somewhere for a retreat, again, details below. Details will also be open for chatting after the practice on Saturday. So that was a lot of information. Again, I'll put all the links here and join me for today's 30-ish minute spicy practice. Let's come down into a child's pose. Knees wide, big toes together, send the hips back to the heels. Walk the arms out long in front of you. And letting the heart soften down towards the mat. The forehead to rest into the floor. And go ahead and land here with a couple deep and intentional breaths in and then back out. Letting these first moments of our practice just simply be about settling and grounding and arriving here. So arriving not only physically, you've done that part, but also mentally, emotionally, in the heart space, in the mind space. Is there any more of you that can be here now? Take one more full cycle of breath. Big breath in through the nose, filling up the lungs a lot, and then a little more. And then open the mouth, exhale, move it through. And ground into finger pads and knuckle pads. Round through the back body as you roll up past a tabletop position and all the way through to an up dog shape. Engage into the glutes, pull the heart through. On your exhale, lower the heart to the floor by bending into the elbows. Palms come underneath the shoulders, tuck onto the toes, ground into the knees, and exhale, round all the way back to a child's pose with toes tucked under. We're going to do that several times. Round through the back body actively as you come up through tabletop. Engage the glutes as you drop hips forward and down. Exhale, bend into the elbows, lower the heart to the mat. Grounding into finger pads, knuckle pads, child's pose. Send the hips all the way back. And then rebound right back up, rounding through the back body. Chin pulls in, drop the hips down and forward. Bend into the elbows as you exhale, lower the heart to the floor. One more time. Grounding into the hands, press all the way back, child's pose. Round through the back body as you roll up through center. Drop hips forward and down, come through to your up dog, and then exhale, bend into the elbows, lower the heart down to the floor. Press all the way back into your child's pose, tucking toes under. And then this time, let's walk the hands back to the body, coming to a seat on the shins with the toes tucked under. So getting that stretch in the bottoms of the feet. In breath, arms circle up overhead. On your exhale, right arm underneath the left, eagle arms. Pull the elbows forward and away from the heart, and then reach the fingertips up high. You are welcome to stay here or add a little back bend, opening up the heart, lifting the tailbone, lifting the gaze. In breath to come back through center, release arms up overhead, and we will swap it out. Left arm underneath the right. Pull the elbows forward, reach the fingertips high. You are welcome to stay here or open up the heart, lifting the tailbone, lifting the gaze, and peeling the fingertips towards the wall behind you. In breath, come back through center. Circle the hands around so they interlace at the low back, opening shoulders, opening heart, and squeezing the heels of the palms towards each other. We're going to play here with keeping this interlace of the hands. Of course, if you need to release and use your hands, you can. We're going to shift our weight into the feet, lift the knees, drop the heels to the floor, lift all the way up to a forward fold at the back of the mat with hands interlaced. Drop the weight of the head here, and it's okay if you walk the feet a little wider than hip width distance apart. Bend just into the right knee and let the right shoulder drop towards the right knee. Keeping left leg straight or straight-ish. Re-straighten through the right leg, bend into the left knee, left shoulder drops to the left knee. In breath, come back through center, release the hands back down to the mat. One vertebrae at a time. On your inhale, roll up the spine, come all the way to standing. And really take this slow, articulating up the spine as you come up. Arms circle up overhead at the top. Bring the palms to touch for a moment. On your exhale, cactus out the arms, pulling shoulders onto the back, heart threads through. Little baby back bend. In breath, come back up through center. On your exhale, dive it forward, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift, lengthen. On your exhale, fold, plant your hands and walk forward all the way into a plank pose, wrists underneath the shoulders. On your exhale, lower halfway, elbows hug into the rib cage. Press all the way back up, high plank. And then on your exhale, bend into the knees, pull the heart back, pull the hips back like you're coming towards a child's pose, but your knees are hovering above the floor, so a little bit more active. On your exhale, like a wave, ripple forward, plank pose. Bend into the elbows, lower halfway. Press back up, high plank. Exhale, bend into the knees, pull the heart back, pull the hips back. Like a wave, exhale, ripple forward, high plank. We've got 2 more times, lower halfway down. Press up, high plank. On your exhale, bend into the knees, pull the heart back, pull the hips back. Last one. Exhale, ripple forward, high plank. Lower halfway down, and then this time, pull the heart through, coming to the tops of the toes. Thighs are lifted for up dog, or to the belly, baby cobra. Exhale, our first down dog practice, rolling over the toes and sending the hips up and back. Couple breaths here to pedal out the feet. Bend into one knee, bend into the other knee, shift hips side to side. And using your next exhale, step, walk, hop, or play, landing to the top of the mat, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold and release. Let it go. In breath to rise, come all the way through standing, arms extend, palms touch, open heart. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. In breath, halfway lift and lengthen. On your exhale, you're gonna fold, plant the hands, either just shift forward, bringing some weight into the hands, or maybe you bend into the knees and play with one tuck jump towards handstand, maybe catching the balance for a moment, and then coming back down. Bend into the knees, in breath, come up, chair pose. Sending hips back, sending heart forward. Strong through the core. On your exhale, shift forward into the toes, heels lift, arms back to airplane wings. And then grounding into the heels, fingertips reach forward. Shift onto the toes, heels lift, arms to airplane wings. Drop the heels, fingertips reach forward. One more time, shift onto the toes, arms shift back. Reach forward through the fingertips, heels drop, and on your exhale, dive it forward, Uttanasana. Plant into the hands, shift into the fingertips. You're welcome to stay here. This is an active shape, or bend into the knees. One hop, one tuck jump towards handstand, maybe catching the balance, or maybe not. Bend into the knees. Once you're down, come up, chair pose. Take a big in-breath. Exhale, shift to the toes, arms come back to airplane wings. 2 more times, drop the heels, fingertips reach forward, core is strong. Shift onto the toes, heels lift, arms extend back. 1 more time, drop the heels, fingertips forward, engage in the core, big in-breath. On your exhale, forward fold. We've got 1 more round, hands plant, shift into the fingertips, press the floor away. You can stay here, this is an active shape, or bend into the knees, play with a hop. Maybe catching the balance for a moment, maybe not. We eventually meet with feet back down to the top of the mat. In breath, chair pose, this is our last time. Exhale, shift to the toes, heels lift, arms airplane wings. Drop the heels down, fingertips reach forward, core strong, glutes strong. 2 more times, shift forward onto the toes, heels lift. Drop the heels, fingertips forward. Last one, shift onto the toes, fingertips extend back. And then dropping the heels down, reach forward, ground through the heels, come all the way to standing, palms touch, open up the heart. On your exhale, dive it forward, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold, plant hands, high plank, wrists underneath the shoulders. Take a little shift, forward and back. And returning to long and even inhales and exhales. And then bending into the elbows, lower halfway. Pull through to your up dog. On your exhale, roll over the toes, hips up and back. Downward facing. Come up high onto the toes, deep bend into the knees. Exhale, step, walk, hop or play, top of the mat fold. In breath, half lift. Exhale, fold and release. Inhale to rise, come all the way through standing. Palms touch, open heart. On your exhale, come right back down. Find your fold, Uttanasana. In breath, half lift. Exhale, fold, plant hands, take it back. This time you're vinyasa, so either taking it through an up dog and then to down dog, or adding on an inversion along the way, or finding a child's pose is always an option. Just one more sun A, just like that. Exhale carries the feet to the top of the mat. In breath, half lift. Exhale, fold and release. Inhale, rise, come up through standing. Palms touch, open heart. Exhale, dive it forward, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant hands, take it back. Your vinyasa, or straight back, downward facing dog. On your next in-breath from your down dog, reach the right toes high. We're going to keep the legs straight. Option to stay here or come up onto left fingertips. Option to stay here or reach left hand back towards the left thigh. As you're ready, take your time in this transition. It's a tricky one. We're going to shift forward. Right knee comes to right elbow. Left fingertips reach towards the top of the mat. Kick all the way back. Two-legged down dog. One more time, shift forward. Right knee, right elbow, left fingertips reach. This time drop left hand to the mat and step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Drop hips down and forward, soften left knee down. Option to bend into left knee, circling right hand around to hold onto the left toes, open up the heart. Coming right back through center, right hand to the mat, lift the left knee. Left foot steps forward, Malasana, Yogi squat, hips drop low. Interlace the fingers, roll out the wrists. Switch direction of the circles. Plant the hands, shift forward, crow pose, knees to the backs of the arms, maybe one foot lifts, maybe both feet lift. Hold for a couple full cycles of breaths. We are building strength here. Think of pressing the back of the heart up towards the ceiling or towards the sky. One more cycle of breath. And then your options, step back, hop back, vinyasa through. Eventually meeting in your downward dog. Same little warm-up sequence, second side. As you're ready for it, left toes sweep high, keeping left leg straight. And then either stay here, come onto the right fingertips, or reach right hand towards the back of the room, or towards right thigh. On your exhale, shift forward, left knee taps left elbow, right hand reaches towards top of the mat. Kick all the way back. Again, take your time in the transition. It's okay if you're not with me. Once more, shift forward. Left knee, left elbow, right fingertips forward. Drop the right hand to the mat and then step left foot to the outside of the left hand. Drop hips forward and down, right knee to the floor. Option to bend into the right knee, circling left hand around to hold onto the right toes. Open up the heart. On your in-breath, come back through center. Both hands to the floor, lift the right knee. Exhale, big step forward, Malasana, Yogi squat. So feet wide, hips drop low. Interlace the fingers, roll out the wrists. Switch direction of the circles. As you're ready, plant the hands, knees to the backs of the arms, crow pose. This time I'm gonna add in a little bit of spice. If you're feeling pretty steady in your crow, flex out the toes. See if you can tap left toes towards left wrist or towards the floor and then lift them back up. And then right toes tap and then lift back up. Left toes tap, pull them back in, right toes tap, pull them back in. One or two more on your own. And once you feel ready for it, we're taking a vinyasa or whatever movement you'd like along your way to a downward dog. On your next in-breath, right toe sweep high. Left hand reaches back maybe. Just once this time, shift forward, right knee, right elbow, left fingertips reach. Drop a left hand to the mat, step right foot to the outside of the hand. Left knee drops to the floor as you circle right hand around to hold onto the left toes. In breath, come back through center. Lift the left knee. We're pivoting all the way to the left, Skandasana, back of the mat. So hips on top of left heel, right leg straight, right toes point up. You can keep hands to the floor or palms to touch at the heart. We're pivoting to the back of the mat, twisted lunge. So shift to the right toes, right knee comes to the left elbow. So pressing elbow into knee, knee back into elbow to twist the heart open. Start to shift your weight into the left foot. Weight comes into the left foot as right toes start to hover from the mat. We're finding kind of a warrior three shape with the twist. So keep pressing right elbow into left knee. Pull the right knee into the chest. Step the right foot next to the left, and on your in-breath, keep the chair pose, release the twist, palms to touch at the heart. Either stay here or exhale, plant the hands, tuck, jump one time, maybe catching balance in handstand. And then toes to the mat, come right back up, chair. Ground through the heels, come all the way to standing, open up the heart at the top. Exhale, dive it forward, Uttanasana, find your fold. In breath, half lift. Exhale, fold, plant hands, take it back. Either a vinyasa or an inversion added on along the way, or straight back, downward dog. Second side, in breath, left toes sweep high. Keep left leg straight. Either keep right fingertips to the floor or start to reach right hand back. Just once, shift forward, left knee taps left elbow, right hand might reach to the top of the mat. Dropping right hand to the floor, left foot steps to the outside of left hand. Drop the hips down and forward, right knee to the floor, and then bend into the right knee as you circle left hand around to hold onto the right foot. Meeting this shape just for a moment on your in-breath, release. Come back through center, lift the right knee. We're pivoting all the way to the right, Skandasana, hips on top of right heel, left leg straight, left toes point up. Hands to floor for support, or palms to touch at the heart. Take a big in-breath. On your exhale, twist to the right, back to the top of the mat. Left elbow comes to the outside of right knee, spin the heart open. On your exhale, we're gonna shift our weight into the right foot. Left foot comes just to a hover to start, so kind of a warrior three twisted shape. And then pull left knee in towards the chest, stepping left foot next to the right top of the mat, twisted chair pose. Find your exhale to sink deep into the shape. And then on your in-breath, we release. Keep the chair pose, palms come to touch at the heart, upper body through center. Either stay right here, or on your exhale, plant the hands, shift forward, bend into the knees, maybe one hop. Even if the goal is not handstand, you're building strength and getting used to being on your hands. We meet back in a chair pose. Ground through the heels, come all the way through standing. Palms touch, open heart. Exhale, dive it forward, Uttanasana, forward fold. In breath, half lift. Exhale, fold, plant hands, take it back. Your vinyasa, or straight back, downward dog. One more time, one breath per movement. We will add on a bit more. Right toes sweep high. Left hand might reach back for the left thigh. Shift forward, right knee, right elbow. Maybe left hand reaches past the top of the mat. Drop left hand down, step the right foot to the outside of the hand. Left knee drops. Option to bend into the left knee, circling right hand around. Meet it just for a moment. In breath, back through center. Lift the left knee, pivot all the way to the left. Skandasana at the back of the mat. When you feel steady here, palms to touch at the heart, take an in-breath. Exhale, shift to the right toes, pivot to the back of the mat, twisted lunge, open up the heart. Start to shift your weight into the left foot. We're gonna lift the right toes for this kind of funky, twisted warrior three shape. Pull the right knee into the chest, planting right foot next to the left foot, and then on your in-breath, release the twist. Keep your chair pose. Either stay here, this is a strong pose, or plant the hands to the mat, shift forward. One tuck jump, maybe catching the balance, maybe not. Eventually, feet plant. Take your time with it. We're all at our own pace here. Grounding through the heels, come all the way to standing. Palms come to touch. Open up the heart. On your exhale, dive it forward. Uttanasana, forward fold. Shift your weight into the left foot. Right toes sweep high. Find your standing split. And then hands are gonna plant to the mat. You're more than welcome to play with hopping towards handstand or just simply hopping left toes back, elbows bend as you do three-legged chaturanga. As you press up, high plank, right knee taps right elbow. Lower hover, right toes kick back, press back up, right knee, right elbow. Kick back to a hover, pause and hold it. And then on your in-breath, pull through, find your up dog. On your exhale, roll over the toes, hips up and back, downward facing. Last time, last side for this sequence. Left toes sweep high. Stay here or right hand reaches back, grounding underneath left hand and right toes. Once you're stable, move slowly in the transition, shift forward. Left knee, left elbow, right fingertips reach. Drop right hand to the mat, left foot steps to the outside of left hand. As you drop right knee, left hand circles around, open up the heart. Maybe you get the grip for a moment. Release through center. Lifting the right knee, we're pivoting all the way back to the top of the mat, Skandasana. Hips on top of right heel, hands to the floor or palms to touch at the heart. Big in-breath. On your exhale, pivot back to the top of the mat. Left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Open up the heart. Start to shift your weight forward into the right foot. And then lift left toes. First to a hover and then eventually engaging into left glutes to lift left toes high. Start to pull the knee into the chest. Left foot steps next to the right, top of the mat. Once you've met your twisted chair on your in-breath, come through center with the upper body. Keep the bend into the knees. Either stay here or last time, plant the hands, shift forward. One tuck jump towards handstand. Or maybe just to get your feet off the floor. Rebend into the knees, hips back, heart forward. Ground through the heels, come all the way to standing, palms touch, open up through the heart. On your exhale, dive it forward, come all the way down into your forward fold, Uttanasana. Weight comes into the right foot, left toes sweep high, standing split. Finding just a breath here, fingertips to the floor or to the right heel. And then we're gonna plant the hands, shift forward. Again, always option to play with a hop towards handstand along the way. We're eventually gonna meet with the right toes to the back of the mat and the left toes lifted, three-legged chaturanga. Press back up, left knee taps left elbow. In breath, kick back, lower halfway hover. Once more, press back up, left knee, left elbow. Kick back left toes to a hover, lower halfway down. Pull through to your up dog. On your exhale, roll over the toes, sending the hips up and back, downward facing. Drop the head, soften the jaw. And then lowering the knees to the floor, untuck the toes, send the hips back, child's pose. And I encourage you in this shape to actually open and close the mouth a couple of times and roll out the jaw. And one more cycle of breath right here. On your next in-breath, let's walk the hands back towards the body. Tuck onto the toes if you can, while sitting back onto the heels. In-breath, circle arms up overhead, and then on your exhale, right arm underneath the left. Pull elbows forward, fingertips high, maybe a little back bend opening up through the heart. And then release through center. Arms extend up overhead. We'll swap it out, left arm underneath the right. Pull elbows forward and away from the heart, and then really pull the fingertips high. Stay here or open it up, little baby back bend. In breath, release through center. Circle hands around so they interlace at the low back, opening up shoulders, opening up the heart. Keep this interlace if you can as you shift weight into the feet. Lift the knees. Drop heels towards floor. Forward fold with hands interlaced. Drop the weight of the head, squeezing heels of the hands towards each other. Bend into just the right knee and let the right shoulder drop towards right knee. And then re-straighten through the right leg, bend into the left knee, left shoulder drops. In breath, back through center. On your exhale, release hands to the floor. Walk yourself forward, plank pose, wrists underneath the shoulders. Last vinyasa for our practice if you want it. Movement with breath along the way. Soften the knees to the floor, coming into a seat. We're going to take one last seated hip opener to cool us down for our practice. You're going to start by bringing left shin parallel to the top of the mat, and then right shin to stack on top of the left. This can be a really intense shape. It's a big hip opener. If there's a big gap between your right knee and your left foot, you could put a block or a blanket or something there to fill the space. And then once you've landed in whatever shape this looks like for you, you can stay here or you can fold the upper body forward. This is a fuller expression of pigeon pose, full pigeon or fire log legs. Drop the head. And softening the jaw. And as we fold forward, we are also lengthening out the low back, which feels really good, I think. And in breath, to walk the hands back through center if you folded forward. We're going to drop right foot to the floor off to the left side of the right knee, left knee, and then we're twisting to the right. So left elbow, right knee, right fingertips behind you. This is a lot of lefts and rights, but ultimately what we're going for here is a big spinal twist to the right. Gaze over right shoulder. Spine is tall. One more exhale to twist even a little more, and then an in-breath to come back through center. Swap it out, right leg is on bottom, left leg is on top. So working towards both shins parallel with the top of the mat. If there's a big space here, you could fill it with a blocker, a bolster, or a blanket. And you can either hang right here or on an exhale, you could fold upper body forward. And it's worth noting which side of the body might be tighter. We typically all have one. Taking several cycles of breath here. Knowing that each exhale could be an opportunity to sink a little deeper into the shape if you want it. Last cycle of breath here. And then using your in-breath, walk the hands back through center. We're going for a twist on the other side. So left foot plants to the floor. Right elbow, left knee. Left fingertips behind you. Sit up really tall and then exhale. Twist. Wrapping lungs around the heart. In breath to come back through center. Bring the bottoms of the feet together, knees wide. Hold on to the big toes. Sit up really tall out of the waist. Take an in breath. Exhale, hinge forward. Our last seated stretch for practice. Press elbows into the inner thighs, inviting the knees towards the floor. Inhale to come back up through center. You may need to scoot forward on your mat. We're going to reach the fingertips forward and roll down the back onto the back body. Landing in a Supta Baddha Konasana. Again, bottoms of the feet together, knees wide. Bring the arms out to a T, palms face up towards the ceiling. See if you can let both shoulders touch the floor. And also tuck the tailbone up so that we're working towards bringing low back to the mat as well. Just one more cycle of breath here in the center, knowing that we are letting body know we are cooling down here. Let's keep the left leg where it's at. Swing the right knee over to stack on top of the left knee. Maybe you drop the gaze over to the right. And then keeping knees together, bring the legs back through center and drop them over to the right. Gaze comes over to the left. In breath to come back through center. Plant the feet to the floor, hip width distance apart. One final back bend for our practice. You can either bring the hands down by the sides, grounding into the heels for bridge pose, or if wheel is in your practice, that is an option as well. But whatever shape you're in, grounding into the heels, drive the hips up towards the ceiling, rolling shoulders underneath you so that you really open up the heart. If you're in bridge pose, maybe hands interlace. Keep squeezing knees towards each other. And then really pressing into the heels to drive hips up towards sky. Take one more in-breath here. And exhale to roll back down, one vertebrae at a time, landing all the way down on the back body. Pull the knees into the chest. Lift the shoulders so you can clasp opposite elbows around the knees. Little rock side to side. And the next place we're going to meet is all the way down into our Shavasana. So whatever movements you'd like before landing there are welcome. Never any right or wrong way to move in this practice as long as you're moving in a way that's honoring your body. So eventually landing with eyes closed in some sort of shape that feels comfortable for the physical body. Notice if you're clenching in the jaw or the eyelids or the shoulders. Knowing that as much as we talk about advancing our physical movements in our practice, being able to do the more challenging poses, if we truly want to advance our yoga practice, we also must take that same depth inward. Stepping into the study of self. This term, svadhyaya, in Sanskrit, self-study. Getting to know the depths of you and who you are and why you do the things you do. How you can use it all as information to function at your highest in the world. So taking Shavasana is a true moment of pause and a presencing and a regrounding and a stepping into the present. Last moments here in silence. And if you would like to hang out in Shavasana a bit longer, I always encourage that. If you're feeling ready, find a bit of a deeper breath. Wiggle fingers, wiggle toes, wrists, ankles. And pulling knees into the chest. Little rock side to side. Taking our time here, we will meet back up in a comfortable seat. You might roll onto a side along the way and pause there. Eventually landing all the way back up. And taking this time to set the tone for whatever will come next in the rest of your day or week or evening. Palms can either meet at the heart or they can stay resting in the lap. And I thank you so much for showing up to move and to play, and I hope to see you all again soon. Namaste. Thank you, friends.